Okay, how are you guys? Doing great? Okay, so the talk is Evolution of Gaming in the MENA region. My name is Diala, and I'm the PR and Communications Manager at Babil Games. So basically, this is just a glimpse of an overall recap. This is the before and this is the after. And a lot has changed ever since the gaming started, and not just the hairstyle and clothes, but there's so many other things happened. A quick glimpse about Babil Games. So we're one of the first gaming companies in the MENA region. We were founded in 2012. We have a branch in Jordan and our headquarters are in Dubai. We're part of Stillfront Group from Sweden, and we're over 80 employees in Jordan currently. So an overview of the rise of gaming in the MENA region. How it started. So the early development and adoption of gaming in MENA. So basically, I think all of you know that in the 80s, there was Atari, Nintendo, Sega, and then in the 90s, there's the arcade where we used to go on the weekend and play. I was born in the early 90s, so later on. And then there's the PlayStation, PS1, PS2, and it's ongoing up until now. And then we have the emergence of the internet cafes, also something we used to enjoy on the weekend for any gaming enthusiast and anyone looking for internet. And then there's the MMORPGs that were introduced as well in the 2000s. So let's discuss how the localization started and culturalization. There was a lot of demand for games in Arabic, and so basically, we started to localize the game in terms of language, in terms of art, in terms of values, and the lingo that was used in the game as well. This is actually one of our games that's localized. It's Conflict of Nations, if anyone knows the game. It was localized into Al General, an Arabic game in our region. And because there's a lot of adoption of the smartphone in the MENA region, there was a lot of demand in localizing content and developing games as well for the region itself. Also, we see a huge rise in esports in the region. This was in Dubai Expo 2020. It's huge. So ever since then, just esports and tournaments and leagues have been ongoing. And a lot of gaming development and companies are looking towards this type of activities. Here's just, I know there's too much text here, but this is just some major milestones that have been going on ever since the early 2000s. First game development studio opened in Jordan. And then ever since, there are so many activities happening in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, and in Jordan as well. And there's a lot of focus on, there's a lot of, let's say, government support as well that I will show you a couple of examples later on. And the most important milestones, let's say, is the acquisition of Babil Games in 2016, and as well Jawakir in 2022. So by Stillfront Group, which is also a group that has around 23 gaming studios around the world. Okay, here's the government support in the MENA region. So there's a lot of, let's say, advancement into a lot of countries wanting to dominate the gaming industry and just being the top in gaming. Jordan has an economic modernization, such a difficult word to say, modernization vision, and like focusing more on ICT sector, on gaming developers, on publishers growing in Jordan. And then there's Dubai gaming industry as well, expected to reach $4.5 billion market, also wanting to grab the opportunity in the gaming industry. And there's also Abu Dhabi, it's also developing a gaming and esports ecosystem. And finally, we have Saudi Arabia investing more than $30 billion to become a video game hub. So a lot of activities, a lot of things happening now in the MENA region, and this is why I'm here. I want to share with you guys how it's evolving. And this is also just some more details into how the government is supporting. In Jordan, there's the gaming lab, and there's the vision I discussed, and then there's the gaming task force. In Saudi Arabia, there are also esports federations, as well as Dubai as well, and the UAE. How do we develop a sustainable gaming economy? So, of course, there's a lot of focus on talent development and curriculum at universities. So even in Jordan, we have universities specifically going into game design and development, into game coding, into art for games as well. And also the government initiative, Jordan Gaming Lab, It hosts video game development events across the country, and it also gives training courses on developing video games. So it's actually for children as well. It could be children, university students, someone at the age of 50. Age is just the number for them. They just want more people to become developers, to grow this really growing and amazing opportunity. Another example here is the government support and the investors' interest and acquisition deals that have been happening in the MENA region. This is just one example. There are so many examples. I couldn't fit all of them in the presentation. Neom is a it's a city in Saudi Arabia that was a desert, and they're growing it now to attract businesses, and especially ICT and especially gaming. So Neom ventured up with MBC, which is a media company, one of the biggest as well, to establish a AAA games development studio in Saudi Arabia. So this is part of their vision as well. With the $30 billion budget, they just want to go crazy. And then this is just a few pictures of the MENA gaming events that we had as Babil Games, and several happening in the region. There was the Pocket Gamer Jordan that happened last year for the first time in the region. There's Stillfront invited all our sister studios to Jordan to see how the gaming industry is in Jordan. There's Orange Gaming Lab. Orange is the telecommunications company in Jordan. It's one of the biggest. And they're actually investing in a gaming hub. So they're pushing students to become developers. This was in a university as well. HTU is another university that gives courses in gaming. And lastly, this was a picture in the Next World Forum in Saudi Arabia. So that was just what's happening, activities, events, government support. Next, I'm just gonna go through quickly the current state. So just some numbers now. The MENA population and smartphone penetration. So the MENA population, we have more than 480 million human beings. 90% of them are active smartphone users in the MENA region, and 75% of those users are mobile gamers. And Arabic is one of the top 5 spoken languages in the world. So you can imagine when you localize a game, it's not just for a specific country, it's for a huge region and several countries with several people speaking Arabic. Even if they don't reside in that country, they still speak Arabic in another region, another country. So when you target, you don't just target a country, but you're targeting a language, which is more than just a location. It's the language itself that's getting you users across several regions around the world. Here is just a graph of the population of Egypt versus Saudi Arabia and the UAE. There's a huge amount of people in Egypt, and 77% of those adults play mobile games, while 84% of the population in Saudi Arabia play mobile games, and 68% of UAE play mobile games. So here's also just how it's segmented. We have the Middle East and Africa with $6.3 billion in revenue, and it's expected with the 5%, almost 5% year-on-year growth in the region. And we had in 2021, 65 million gamers, and we're expected to reach 85.7 million in 2025. Here's the MENA 3 games market. The MENA 3, which are the countries are Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Egypt. Saudi Arabia is the largest in games revenue when it comes to the MENA market. Then we have UAE as well with a really high revenue return, let's say. And then there's Egypt. Egypt has a really high population of gamers. And it's an emerging market as well. And it's the 5th largest country in gaming revenue. And then over here, the growth, where again, we're expecting to see growth from 2021 to 2025 with reaching almost $3 billion for the MENA 3 market. And then this is just a comparison showing you the revenue versus the gamers. So we have Saudi Arabia with the most revenue versus Egypt with the most gamers. Here's also showing you the user's behavior. So we have a lot of spenders in Saudi Arabia and in the UAE versus Western Europe. Also, the average spenders are higher in Saudi Arabia and UAE versus Western Europe. Moving to the average revenue per paying user, it's much higher in Saudi Arabia than in China, versus the average revenue per user in China is a bit higher. So what we see here is that there are so many spenders in Saudi Arabia and in the Gulf, which is a great opportunity. The future of gaming in MENA. So here, according to a new zoo report, we're expecting to reach 116 billion in 2024 in the MENA region. And most of this revenue is coming from smartphones and a bit from tablets, with Saudi Arabia and the UAE seeing the most growth in 2024. Just some trends as well that are growing slowly. There's cloud gaming, there's VR, there's AR, enhanced cross-platform integration, continued growth of esports. This is actually growing faster than the rest. Integration of AI and focus on social and community features. Just a robot. What's next? That's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
this great overview of gaming in MENA.
Okay. I had a gift, but I lost it.
You had a gift?
Yeah. I don't know where it is.
Okay, we will find it.
Okay, I'll find it.
Anyways, does anybody have any questions? I can help. Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.